Good morning, YouTube. We going live just for y'all. Just for y'all. Evian, I think I can hear music in the background. Something's definitely playing under my there you go. Bless the Lord.
All right.
That works. Good morning, my We Are Not So Different family. Thank y'all for joining me again on 89.9 FM and on YouTube Live. We're doing it all for y'all this morning. So, y'all know the drill. Get your favorite spot on the couch, get your favorite drink, and get ready to jump right on in this morning. So, this morning we have the beautiful Miss Sherica Matthews here with Matthews. I'm sorry.
Matthews.
I'm gonna get it right this morning. And before we go, I want to read her bio because it's like chock full, and I think it's gonna lead us through a lot of the questions that I have today. So y'all listen, put your listening ears on. So, Sherica Matthews is a project manager, an electrical engineer, life coach, and speaker. She's passionate about helping highly driven women get a new lease on life. Why? Because every next level requires a next level you. She's the woman to help you get there. As the visionary behind Feminine Success Mastery, I got questions already, teaching and coaching programs, she has combined her 5 years of coaching, professional training, and her own life experiences to show women how to break the rules to achieve the breakthrough that you've been seeking. Unleash her most powerful brilliant self and position herself for greater success, impact, and influence, and reignite the passion and fire in her life. In other words, when you work with her, you'll be able to be bold, walk in your brilliance, and become unstoppable. She's a former resident of Houston, Texas, and now resides in the Chicagoland area with her rescue dog Toby, which I'm going to need pictures of Toby before this.
Okay. Yes. He's too cute, honey.
Oh, what kind of dog is he?
He is a Schnauzer and a Terrier mix. Yeah. Yeah.
So wait, he's a big boy then.
He's about 30 pounds wet.
Yeah.
And he's probably about 34 pounds now because his hair has grown so out of control. So I'm going to do an experiment for that.
You're going to cut?
Girl, y'all pray for my dog.
Poor Toby. We're sorry, Toby. Oh, we'll take some before and after pictures.
I shall.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for clearing your schedule to be with We Are Not So Different this morning. You're truly appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. So, everyone knows we start the show off the same way each and every time. Two questions. I'm going to dive into the heart of Sherica Matthews. First question. If you had the undivided attention of an audience of your choosing, who would the audience be and what would you tell them?
My audience would be women who have mastered the art of looking like they have it all together.
Oh,
I know that's a little heavy, right?
It is. I think I'm guilty.
And on some level, she does have it together, but she has done such a good job of hiding the parts of her in her life that's not always together and is kind of weighing on the back of her mind. That could be finances, that could be relationship, that could be living below your potential. It's always that one thing, but we have mastered the art of being so busy and keeping up with what we think success should look like and what we think other people want to see out of us, that we inadvertently put ourselves on the back burner. So that's my target audience.
I'm gonna need you to get off my toes.
My bad. You say we'll dive right in.
You're right.
I'm sorry. I think I just jumped in.
Yes, ma'am. Woo, that was a lot, even right there.
Yeah.
And I don't say this to leave you guys out. I only speak from my perspective, and I'm a woman. We are guilty of this.
Yes, absolutely. And a lot of us are not comfortable admitting that. A lot of us tend to suffer in silence. And I do say suffer intentionally because it's a discomfort. It is what adds to our stress, adds to our dislike of our lives. You're always wishing something was different, but feeling like you can't do anything differently because you have so many responsibilities. You don't want to let your mom down or your pastor down or your community down, or you feel like you have to be the superwoman and the superhero for the whole world, but are you going to be the hero for yourself?
Man, look, somebody pass the offering plate. This lady just preached. Okay, so your audience is women, especially the ones who look like they have it all together.
Mhm.
So, what would you tell these women?
I would tell them to get back to the root of things and understand who you are and what you really want out of life.
Okay.
Because I know for me growing up, I never intentionally planned to be successful, if you will.
Okay.
I just knew that it was required of me to go to college. It was required of me to do something out of my life. And so I just kind of did it kind of haphazardly. But as I began to grow and live, I started to realize I was trying to fit myself into a box that I didn't build.
Who built the box? I got questions.
Let's start with church. Let's start with parents. Let's start with society.
Wow.
Especially with my particular religious background, I was brought up Christian, but as a woman, women didn't have a voice. Women took this back seat. We were literally taught to be seen and not heard. I got accolades at church for being the young lady to sit down and cross her legs and being quiet and still at church.
Oh, that's what they praised you for.
Mm-hmm.
Sit there and look pretty.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So it was a process coming out of that. It was a process really defining who I am as Sherica, who I am as a woman, and who I want to be in this world. What is my contribution to the world? That was a whole process. And it is still an ongoing process because as you gain more life experiences and as you gain more wisdom, you begin to shift. We talked about that a little bit earlier. We began to forge our own path. We began to form our own identities. And it's okay to change. It's okay to evolve as we grow as a person.
I think it's imperative that we grow. It's imperative that we shift and evolve. Because if you don't, then you find yourself in an even smaller box.
Yeah, but some of us are so uncomfortable with change. For me, I am a very structured person. At one point, I had my bookshelf organized by genres. Yeah, and size and book size. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yes, it's a lot.
It's okay. It's a judgment-free zone.
It worked for me. And so I like having the structure. I like having a sense of control over certain things in my life. And that was a symptom that I felt out of control in other areas of my life, but we can circle back around to that. So for someone like me and a lot of other women, how do I want to say this? And I just lost my train of thought. Forgive me.
Okay. So while you regain your train of thought, I want you to be free to say whatever it is that comes to you, as long as you ain't cussing like we discussed it.
We're not gonna cuss.
Go ahead. Like I want you to feel free. You don't have to make it pretty. You don't have to put a bow on it and shine it up. Nope, just give it to us with no chaser. Straight. Yeah, it's totally fine. And
the truth of the matter is we hold on to this plan and this process that we created in our minds on how we should become a woman, how we should become and behave as a Christian. How do we become and behave as a successful woman in corporate America? We have these prescriptions either we have written for ourselves or someone else has written for us, and we hold on to that. And yet we're still praying to God to do something different. We're praying to God for our breakthrough. We're praying to God for elevation. We're praying to God for, a bigger, more purposeful life while we're still holding on for dear life to the very things that we may need to let go. And it's not until we let go that we actually experience that breakthrough. And that's actually the story of how I ended up here in Chicago.
Oh, wow.
And this is actually my first time telling the whole story publicly. So
wait, we're gonna get. We and I so different. We love exclusives, y'all. Stay tuned. I feel like it's some juicy tidbits and pearls of wisdom that's about to come, and I'm really excited. So I'm gonna put a pin, literally. She said, "First time telling story." I'm writing that down because I want to get to the second question. Which was, if you had the opportunity to speak with little Sherica, I'm talking like maybe 5, 6 little Sherica, what do you think that she needs to hear? Now, mind you, we're not trying to go back and change no futures or no past or whatever. But what do you think that little 6-year-old you needs to hear?
You are loved and you matter.
I hear that so often. And it yanks at my heartstrings every single time. You are loved and you matter.
Yeah.
Expound upon that.
Growing up, my household, we did not express love.
Mm.
Love was expressed as providing roof over your head, clothing on your back, food on the table. That was love. It was provision. There wasn't a lot of hugs. There weren't kisses. I don't remember my parents telling me I love you until I initiated it and I was in college. And that doesn't mean they didn't love me.
Right.
But that wasn't our culture.
Yeah.
That wasn't in my home culture. We just didn't do that. But it was interesting because I was doing an internship in Alabama and a family at church just literally adopted me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I started hanging out with them and I'm noticing the mother and the father and the two daughters in their interaction, how the little girls felt so comfortable coming home after school and sitting on their dad's lap and telling them how their day was, how their mom would just go and just hug them and kiss them and say, hey, baby, come sit next to me. Tell me how your day was. And they would hug on me all the time. And it felt so awkward.
Oh, I was just going to say, were you uncomfortable?
But I loved it.
Oh.
Let me tell you, if it wasn't for the pandemic, I would have hugged you the first time I saw you. That is
darn it, Corona.
I love hugs. And so I went home at some point after that. And I went to my mom and I was like, I love you. And she was like, oh, okay, I love you too. I was like, okay, cool. And I went to my dad and I was like, this is going to be real awkward. And I think I told him I love you. And I went to give him a hug. We did one of those church hugs because we don't touch. It wasn't
the norm.
It wasn't the norm.
Yeah.
So for me, one thing I would love to tell my younger self is that you are loved. Even though you may not have heard it, you didn't know what it felt like or looked like. Because when I saw the other family in Alabama, I literally thought something was wrong because I had not been exposed to that. I always thought that if, a parent touches a child in the wrong way, you might think something is wrong. And so it took me a minute to realize that this was a healthy type of love. Hugs and kisses are okay between parent and child.
Yeah.
And then being told that I am worthy instead of being told that, you got to be quiet. Don't be too loud like the girl across the street. Don't be like this person. Don't be like Don't be like that person. Be quiet. Keep your head down. Do your work.
So that they didn't say be you.
Mm-mm.
There was that box that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. I love that when people are able to come in and then they express what they would have told like their younger person. And I'm working on a project to get more kids involved on the show because I feel like if we can start hitting them now at the ages that we're talking about, 4, 5, 6, then I'm absolutely convinced, and call me crazy, that it would be such a shift in the families, which would result in a shift in the culture, which would result, I'm talking about worldwide, baby.
Yes,
call me corny, call me crazy.
Absolutely.
But I'm convinced.
But it takes radical change to have radical change.
Yeah.
And sometimes that radical change could be a simple word.
Yeah.
Could be a simple affirmation, could be a simple hug. As simple as that is a radical change that could make a radical change, waves of change across a whole culture, across a whole city, across the whole world.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Woo! But
we have to embrace it, right? We
have
to be ready for it because in the conversation I was having last night, so many people are just stuck on what they've been taught. They're not willing to listen. And I was asked the question, how do we get different cultures to come together? And my answer is let go of your preconceived notions of who this culture is. We're in our conversation of who a child should be. And listen, because they are a person.
They hear so much. They understand.
They have a lot to say.
They
have opinions and thoughts.
They be seeing. They be noticing all y'all.
Girl, let me tell you, these little kids here, I can sit down and take some notes.
Hello?
They are wise because they observe. they see things from a totally different perspective.
Yes, ma'am.
And as adults, we often try to prepare them for the world that we know, forgetting that they're experiencing a different world than what we experience, and giving them, I'm going to even say, permission to be different.
Yeah. Wow. Wasn't none of that information growing up in my household, but that's a whole nother story. We're not going to get it today. Now, before we get into these other questions, excuse me. So, as you know, it is We Are Not So Different's 1 year anniversary.
Yay!
I'm really excited. And I've been doing giveaways all month long, and it doesn't stop here. So, today we're going to do another giveaway. And I like the phrase last week. We're going to use it again. And it's, I got questions, I need answers. That's going to be the phrase that pays. But you have to wait around to see when I'm going to say it, so that way you know what to do and where to go. So stick around as we proceed. I feel like that's a song. As we proceed to give you what you need. But, do you want to do it now or later? You want to show them what we're giving away? You want to give them some suspense?
How about I just give them a peek?
Okay, we're a peek of today's giveaway, y'all.
Peek, just a peek. Let me see if I could. You don't even know what this is. I'm not going to show you all that. We're going to show you that part of it, okay? Just that. Just a peek. Let me tell you.
A teaser.
We'll tell you about that later.
All right. Awesome. Okay. So let's jump right in. I almost want you to be like, I know I have some questions, whatever, but now my ears is itching to hear this, this exclusive. And then, so how do you want to hold off on that? You tell me what you want to do.
Let's dive into it, because I think that is going to spawn more questions, more thoughts, and a deeper conversation, and give you a little bit more insight of why I am so passionate about doing what I'm doing.
That's what I need. Yeah. Passion, bold, brilliant. Yes. Come. Okay.
Yes.
That's I'm here for.
Yes.
We're here for.
So, as you said earlier, my background, I do have a degree in electrical engineering, and I work as a project manager. So I've been in the engineering world for 15, 16 years now. Okay. And so about 4.5 years ago, I was laid off from my job, because at the time I was living in Houston, the economy was crashing, but Houston caught the back end of the economic downturn. So we didn't feel it until everyone else had already gotten over it. And so the company I worked for actually shut its doors. A whole engineering company shut down.
Wow.
And so at that time, I decided just to work my business full time, because I'm like, okay, God, this is my opportunity. You're pushing me out the nest, and we're going to fly, we're going to soar. I'm like, yes, God. Yeah. So
I'm sure you were exactly that cheerful when it happened as well.
Exactly. So the income that I was making as a coach, as a speaker, it all but dried up. Like, literally. I was like, oh my gosh. The savings I had, thought it would last me a year or two. Girl, no. Yeah. I literally, by the time it was said and done, about a year after I lost my job, I actually ended up losing my house. The guy I was dating crashed my car and couldn't even give me the deductible. My house flooded.
Oh, that's right, because of the storms and stuff?
No.
Oh, no. Something else.
Yes. You want to know why it flooded?
Okay.
So this is actually what started, I think, what I call the downturn in my life. It was a water hose connected to my washing machine. It burst while I was doing laundry. And that it was a Sunday, never forget, it was a Sunday. I wasn't feeling too well, but I decided to go for a little run. As I am walking out the house, it felt like somebody pushed me, because I fell down and twisted I think it was my right ankle, and hurt my left knee.
Wow.
Yeah. So I come back in the house, I'm icing things down. I let the guy know I was dating at the time that I wasn't going to come to church, because he was doing Bible study that day. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, okay, God, really? Okay. So a couple hours later, water hose burst. Now I got a busted ankle and a busted knee. And I'm trying to hop on top of the washing machine to get to the shutoff valve to turn it off. Can't turn it off, because I had the house for 13 years. I've never exercised that valve. Do note this, y'all. Exercise that shutoff valve today. do
it, y'all.
Check the water hose today.
Okay, y'all.
It flooded my whole freaking house, except for my master bedroom and closet.
Wow.
This is a 2,000 square foot house. And the incident probably only lasted maybe 15 minutes, but it felt like hours.
15 minutes it took to flood the whole house?
You think about high pressure water.
Wow.
And I'm calling my neighbors, calling my friend. No one is available to tell me how to cut off this water. And I'm full blown panic. And so, yeah, it flooded the house. Now your home deductible is $1,500, like literally the last little money I got. I'm like, oh God, okay. So I told God, I give up. I'm done. I'm done. If this is how you want my life to go, just to live out what I think I need to do, I'm done.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't let me be done. God, I'm just like,
he's not that way.
Yeah, he's not that way. So fast forward, the next year, things still going to hell in a handbasket at this time. I ended up deciding just go ahead and find another job, and couldn't find a job in Houston to save my life. Couldn't find a job in Texas to save my life. The jobs I did find offered me half of my salary. And I was like, yeah, see, I'm not going to do that.
I know.
So I expanded my job search and ended up here in Chicago. And so I'm like, okay, God is about to restore me. I'm about to get back on track and life is going to be great. And this is the part of the story that probably only 4 people know. When I moved here, I could not find a place to live. I ended up living in a hotel for a whole year.
Wow.
A year. I was so ashamed.
Why were you ashamed?
Because I'm Sherica. I'm the coach. I'm supposed to be helping other people. Like, other people depended on me for things. And here I am. I made a bad decision being in a relationship with a guy who did not bring me any good. I made the decision. This is my thought process at the time, to go full blown into my business instead of doing the safe thing and finding a new job as soon as I lost my old job. I felt ashamed that my credit was so bad that I could not get another place to live. It was such a burden on me because at the time I felt that I needed to be that example for other people, and being that example for other people meant looking like I had it all together.
Well, this is already answering so many questions that I had. Wow.
But shame is a real challenge for women because we feel like we have given ourselves this cape and this S on our chest to save everybody, to save the world.
Take it off. Sorry.
Yes. Yes. Oh, well, I'm not going to say that. But it was hard. It was really hard when people would ask me, where do I live? And I said, I live somewhere in Naperville. That was my answer. I didn't want to tell anybody.
Right.
When we met our mutual friend and she came over, I was so afraid that she was going to judge me. I was so afraid. I think she was the first person, actually, now that I think about it, who actually found out where I live. And my God, it was a challenge. It really was. And part of what kept me there for the whole year wasn't just my credit. It was my mindset. It was my sense of worth. It was my sense of feeling like I was a failure. And that's another message that I would tell my younger self, maybe my teenager to young 20 self. You can experience a failure without being a failure.
Amen. I think we all have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We tend to own that thing.
Yeah.
I failed. No, you experience a failure that taught you a lesson is going to position you to be even greater if you get the lesson and let go of your feelings about it. And so once I realized that it was more so my mindset and my belief system that was holding me back, I began to work on that, began to change. I began doing the work, right? And even in the midst of that, I wrote the manifesto for all of this: bold, brilliant, unstoppable, sitting in a hotel room on the bed with my dogs. I literally came here with a rental car, a suitcase, and my dog.
Wow. Is like your stuff still in Texas, or? I
ended up selling most things. Only things I kept was my bed. I kept my dresser. Oh, and this lamp that I really like.
Okay. Everybody needs that little something.
Yeah. But I ended up selling my shoes, clothes, all the other furniture. And I was so angry because the guy I was dating again, I felt like he let it happen in the sense of, I can admit this, I put undue expectations and undue pressure on him to be something for me that he was not intended to be.
Okay.
So I wanted him to be like my husband. I wanted him to be that that provider for me, because that is what he had promised me. But at the end of the day, he was not intended for me. I can see that in hindsight.
Yeah.
But in that moment, I was angry because he was at my house and watched me sell all of my things to make ends meet, to put food on the table. You know, and I felt some kind of way about that.
I would feel some kind of way. Was he working? Was he not
he had
contributing? Or?
He had a job. That's another conversation for a whole nother day.
I got questions.
Okay. Yeah. And so I had to release him. I had to release my anger towards him. And I had to forgive myself, putting myself in that relationship, in that situation. And I had to release this feeling of I am entitled to not make mistakes. I had to release that and to understand, really embody the fact that everything really does work together for your good.
Yes,
everything does. And so after I moved out of the hotel and into the apartment, I realized, oh my God, this is exactly what I prayed for. I have always wanted a life of ease. That's what I've been praying to God for. And so now I live in a space where I don't have to do anything. Like, I call somebody, they change my light bulbs.
Oh, that's right. This is not my responsibility. All this is y'all's.
Somebody comes pick up my trash at my door.
Wow.
I live a mile from my job.
Wow.
Which is another thing I prayed for. I wanted more time freedom. And so I realized, in hindsight, of course, I was holding on so much to what I had in Houston, because I really did like my life in Houston. I had a house, I had a car, I had all the things that made up the definition of what a successful woman should look like and be like and show up as. I had all those things. And I had to lose it all so that God can get me closer to what it is my heart truly desired. And what I truly desired was financial freedom and time freedom and a life of ease. And I am in the process of continually elevating that for myself. And I love it and I appreciate it.
Yeah. When you walk through some things, it does tend to give you a sense of appreciation.
Yes.
Of the
Yes, it does. It
does.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so that answered so many questions. And when I get to those questions, I'm like, well, this is why I was going to ask this. That is a lot.
Yeah.
And to walk through that alone, I would say I'm sorry that you had to do that, but at the same time, I'm not. And hear my heart, y'all. Yes, I express empathy towards your situation, but sometimes, and I know this to be a fact, God will bring you away. Like, come away with me. Spend some time with me. Let me show you that you can depend on me. Let me show you that you can trust me. Girl. Let me show you. Girl. Yes. Because once you realize where you are loved, you know who you can run to forever.
Yes.
So now you don't have to worry about putting yourself in a position where you're putting undue or unexpected or unrealistic on a man.
Yes.
Because you know where your provision comes from.
God is my source and my supply.
Yes.
Not a man, not a job, no one else. Because even though I went through a year or so of financial hardship, I always had some place to lay my head. I always had food on my back. God always provided. He didn't provide in the way I thought he would, but he did take care of me. And I laugh because I remember one of the most poignant lessons I learned was I have not because I ask not. And let me tell you what happened. So I told you my ex wrecked my car. It's like this car is total. And so I started taking Uber to different places I needed to go, to the grocery store, to whatever. And so I was still a part of a nonprofit organization at the time. And we were having one of our board meetings. So I took an Uber over to her house. And my friend, she knows my situation, but no one else on the board knew. And so as they're coming in, they're like, "Where's your car, Sherica? I see you're here, but I see your car." I was like, "Oh, yeah, yeah."
Right. In other words, mind your business in a professional and polite way.
But what hurt my feelings, I hurt my own feelings because they said to me, "I wish you would have told me because I just gave away a car." I wish she would have told me, because I just sold a car that I wasn't using. Two different people had cars and didn't use, sitting in the driveway for 6 months. And here I am Ubering for, at that time, probably like a month and a half. All because I was too ashamed to ask for what I needed. Because in my mind, I didn't think anybody had spare cars. So who has spare cars?
Right.
Clearly, I didn't know my people that well. But you have not because you ask not, because we are too afraid of what people will think. We are too afraid of needing someone else. We don't want other people to view us as dependent or needy or lacking. So at the end of the day,
got it all together.
Exactly. We don't want to. Wow. So I just had a connection moment that this facade of having it all together stemmed from my childhood, just in my home dynamics. That was wow. Okay.
She's having a moment.
I did have a moment.
It's all right.
Something just clicked into why I do that. But the lengths that we go to maintain the image that we have.
Scary.
It is. It is.
Wow. Okay. Well, that was a lot. Thank you for your transparency.
You're welcome.
I know that obviously you're still processing it if you're connecting stuff. And he'll do that. He'll drop something on you. Yeah. He don't care what he does.
I know, right? I'm like, you're not going to interrupt my thought flow like that, guy. Really?
But
I know to come to the table next time.
Right? Whispering in my dreams, Lord. But I love, even to this day, he's using it. And I'm sure that you're going to be able to use that nugget that he just dropped on you to help another one.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. So, excuse me. Living Life Beyond Barriers. That's the name of your company. So, your bio is packed with a whole lot of stuff. But before I can get into that, I want to, in layman's terms, basically just what does it mean to be a life coach? What is it that you do in the most simplest terms possible?
To help people get their life together.
Okay. I asked for simple. I did. Let me help you get your life together.
And that doesn't mean anything's wrong with your life. And that's what people, a stereotype people have about coaches and therapists, that something has to be wrong or for you to have a coach or to have a therapist. No. We just help you get your life together, either fix where you are, help you get it together where you are, help you get it together so you can go to the next level and the next level and the next level.
Enhance, build, grow.
Yes,
basically.
Absolutely.
Doggone it. So how does, I have to ask, because you mentioned some stuff that went on in your personal life. So as a life coach, does this it doesn't just pertain to business, it crosses over into personal. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I was about to say, well, what qualifies you? But after you just gave me, you just answered so many questions, because I feel like I'm not 100% sure myself, besides the definition that you just gave me, which was help you get your life together, what a life coach does. And then how do I know that they have, is it taboo to ask for credentials, or how do I know?
You should.
Right.
Absolutely. I'm going to tell you, I went to school. I have a certification from the World Coaching Institute. I done paid my dues. And that's the thing, that coaching is not giving advice. Coaching. Okay. So this is my belief. I believe that God has given you everything you need to be all you were created to be.
Okay.
Primarily, he's giving you the Holy Spirit. The Bible tells us, who knows the mind of God, the Spirit of God. And if the Spirit of God dwells within you, that means you have the mind of God within you, which means you already have the answers to every problem you're ever going to have in your life. All you got to do is ask. And so my job is to help you ask, is to help you become more in alignment with who you are, and to help you uncover all the things that's keeping you from getting the answers that you desire. That's really my job.
That was really well put together and well packaged. And it made me feel slightly empowered. And I'm not quite certain if it was her personality that did that, or if it was the levity, the truth in her words. And I feel like I can go do some stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And each one of us who are coaches, who are, I'm going to call us helpers and healers, is we all have our thing, right? And one of the things that I get told all the time with people who work with me is that they feel as if they can relate, that they can connect with me, they feel relaxed. But I know also one of my strengths is teaching. So while I am a coach, I teach what I know. I teach what I have learned, not what I have read in a book.
Mm.
So this process of healing and forgiving, I can teach that.
I was just about to say that because it's different when you're teaching something that you've learned.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have walked through a thing, when you have walked through a thing, let me teach you. Let me give you some side points about what you're about to go through. And let me show you some of these back roads. So where that
girl,
yes.
I have a couple, and these are my friends. I try not to coach my friends unless they ask me to, but they are about to go through some things that I've gone through already. So I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen next. They call me up, girl, how'd you know? Well, see, what had happened was 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yes. And I think, and that's the whole beauty about what you said about all things really work together for us. All of it, the good, the bad, especially the ugly.
Yes.
Because I'm sure that you are 100% more effective now that you've walked through that dark place than you were before when you were doing the business before you.
Yes.
So yeah. So that answers my question. I was like, well, and I didn't want to say it in a rude way, like what qualifies you, but like your life experience, what you have walked through, what you have come out on the other side of, what you've learned, what you've learned. That's what qualifies you.
And what I call them my success receipts.
Oh, she got receipts, y'all.
Receipts, okay? Because even though I went through that dark place, you see where I am now. You can look at what I am currently doing and how I'm currently living out my life. And that is how you can qualify someone as well, because you have so many people who call themselves coaches, but where are their receipts? And even as women, and this is why I have a special place for women who are in corporate America, we have to keep track of our receipts. We have to keep track of our wins. We have to keep track of all of that, because the underlying messages for a lot of us, especially those of us who work in male-dominated fields, yeah.
This is, I'm going to be quiet.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's always that, well, you're a girl, you're expected to be emotional. I even had one person tell me, well, if I had known that you were divorced, I would not have recommended you for this job.
What does my marital status have to do with my qualifications? I just need to know. I have questions.
And it was so funny because it was an older white man and another guy who was in the room with us. And the other guy, he put up his church finger. He was like, let me excuse, because I guess my face said something. He was like, I don't need to witness this.
I know, that's right. Like, sir.
But he was so serious. And then he was like, well, but I guess you've done all right. You've been out here for 6 months. And then he proceeded to tell me, well, I have, and this is 2020 right now. So this had to be around 2010 time frame. So it's still modern times, right?
Right.
He still fixed his mouth to say, well, you're not like other Black people. Because I had 2 Black friends growing up in my neighborhood, and I was like, oh my God, like we're really having this conversation.
Your privilege is showing, sir. Tuck it away. Tuck it away.
He was so serious.
I'm
like, wow.
You're not nothing like them other ones. What's the other one, sir? Got questions.
And he answered that too. I'm like, I want to see how far is he gonna go.
Wow. And he went.
He went all the way. I'm like, if I was that person, I would go straight to HR right about now. But I could tell he was coming from a place of pure ignorance.
Wow.
It was pure ignorance for him. Because there are some people who do it out of privilege and out of superiority. There are some people who are just ignorant. One of my first roommates in college, she had never seen a Black person for real in her life. She was like,
how? No, I refuse. And she ain't got no TV?
She's seen him on TV. She's never encountered, because she lived in a little town in Tennessee.
Black people wasn't allowed there? I have questions. Okay.
Girl, we had all kinds of conversations. She wanted to touch my hair. She was like, why don't you wash your hair every day? I'm like, I had questions, but I can't repeat right now.
It wasn't. Yeah. You ain't never seen not no Black person ever in your life. I don't. I hear banjos.
That's probably not too far from where she was from. I can't even tell you the name of the city. There are so many little cities throughout Tennessee and Texas that are all just one.
Just
They're all the same, but
okay.
yeah.
All right then. I'm not going to go down that road. I'm not. Feminine Success Mastery,
Yes.
FSM,
Yes.
teaching and coaching.
Yes.
What is it?
So that is the program I designed specifically for women in corporate America, where we take our personal development lessons and apply them to our professional development. Because a lot of us, we tend to focus so much on the professional development, getting the pay raise, getting the titles in the corner office, that we forget that it takes us who we are as a woman, as a person, to attain that level of success. And so one of the things I talk about is climbing the corporate ladder with integrity. Because sometimes we begin to go up that corporate ladder, but then we shy away from leadership positions. We shy away from different elevated positions because of the games that they play. You know, I hear all the time, I'm not playing corporate politics. Well, corporate politics in and of itself is not a negative thing. It's about the integrity of the person who's playing it. So you have to make a decision to understand who you are and what your values are, and then follow that path. And the core of all of my teachings right now really is understanding what your top 5 values are.
Okay.
And I'm not talking about, a lot of people say, oh, it's going to be God, family, and church. No, let's go deeper.
Let's go.
Let's go deeper. Let's ask some real questions so we can understand what your values are. Because if you are pursuing a career path that's out of alignment with your values, if you're pursuing a passion project that's out of alignment with your values, you're going to be stressed, you're going to be miserable, and you're going to have undue pain in your life because you're out of alignment. Wow. But that goes back to that saying we had earlier, that we are going after this image of what being successful looks like for us, what having it all together looks like for us. We're supposed to go this path. We're supposed to do X, Y, and Z, but not really coming back to basics, understanding who am I, what do I value, and how do I keep that in alignment with who I am.
Wow. That's a lot of introspection. Like, we're going to have to ask ourselves the hard questions, and then we're going to have to extend ourselves enough grace to be honest.
Yes. Hold a mirror up and have this conversation with yourself in the mirror, and ask yourself, who am I? What are you? What is your inner me saying to you? What is she saying?
How did I get here? How? So if I wanted to pursue getting a life coach, like, one of the things, I guess the reason why I was going to ask before you gave me your receipts, I was going to ask, well, what qualifies you? What makes you different from other people? How would I, as a person who's looking to obtain resources from a person such as yourself, how do I tell the real from the fake? How do I know who out here giving me book knowledge as opposed to what I know and what I've experienced, life knowledge, without like asking? You can't come in getting everybody business.
Right.
Like, how do you differentiate? Like, how do you?
I think you have to stalk them a little bit.
Well,
follow their social media page, because you can tell when people are following a script versus when people are actually teaching from their soul. Because when you follow me on Facebook or Instagram and I'm telling you things, I'm giving you my life experiences. I am teaching you things that I know and I've experienced versus, feel good statements or something that I could read out of, I don't know, a book. Okay. I can't think of a book right now.
That's all right. You got about 5 books, so she can't think.
I got like 500 books now. But no, I'm kidding. But a lot of us, you have to, I keep coming back to this. You have to tune your ears into yourself. One of the things that we have, I don't want to say this, we lost the art of tuning into our intuition.
Okay. And he gave it to us for a reason.
Right. And your intuition, nothing but the Spirit of God. So listen to yourself. When you hear someone speak and something in your spirit ain't right, don't stay on that page.
I know that's right.
Don't ask them for, discovery call. If something ain't right, keep it moving. See, a lot of us, and I'm including this, a lot of us, is that I like to get to the root cause of stuff, right? So I feel uncomfortable. I want to know why. What's about? So I'm going to dig deep. That's kind of how I am, right? But if you're searching for a coach, you're searching for someone to work with, follow your spirit. And if your spirit feels okay, then ask to have a conversation and see how that conversation goes. You have coaches who have given bad names to other coaches because of they make these big promises and don't deliver, or they take your money and don't call you back, or something of that nature. So you want to make sure, yeah,
girl.
So when you work with me, there's a coaching contract because I'm a professional.
I like contracts. I do.
Yes. So work with someone who offers you a contract. That's how you know that they are professional. Ask them where do they get their certification from and look it up.
Ask for receipts.
Yes. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. And if you go to my website, I have all of my seals from WCI on my page so that you can see what I've gotten my certifications in.
Check out credentialship.
Because I know I've gotten burned before by business coaches. I've met some really good coaches and I've met some really not so good coaches.
Yeah.
And it is a learning process. It's just like going to a doctor, right? You're going to meet a really good doctor and you may meet a really, not so good doctor too. So you have to go through that process of elimination as well. But you want to make sure that you are in tune with what your spirit is telling you and see who you're drawn to and then ask to have the conversation. And that conversation may be what a lot of us in the industry call a discovery call to make sure that we are a good fit. Because when I have discovery calls with people, I want to make sure that you are in the right mindset to make a change.
Like, are you going to do the work?
Right. Because some people just want to talk. Yeah, so I'm not a therapist. And even a therapist will make you do some work.
Right.
You really want, a counselor, someone to listen to you talk. That's not really me. If you want someone to help you uncover what's holding you back, if you want someone to help you get to the next level and do the work and hold you accountable, then that is me. We may become friends in the process, but in the initial phase, I'm not your friend. I am your coach. I am here to help you grow, and growth can sometimes be uncomfortable. I am going to ask you to step outside of your comfort zone, but also know that it's still up to you to make the choice. You have to continue to say yes to yourself before you say yes to me. If you're not confident and comfortable enough to say yes to you, you can't say yes to no one else.
Yeah, that's right. My goodness, that was a mouthful. I hope y'all is getting all these tidbits and pearls of wisdom. Now, look, I was, you said stalk. I did. I stalked her website. I did. Stalked her Facebook. I was like, what is she really about? Before I made my decision.
Right. Yes, exactly.
So I was on her page and I saw 3 books. A savvy. There's more than that on there. The 3 that popped out to me. A Savvy Girl's Guide to Self-Love and Solo Travel, Engineering Faith, and Confidence, Courage, and Fearlessness. Now, first of all, you a busy lady. It's a whole bunch of books on her website, y'all, and not just books, but like material. So, first of all, you're a busy lady. Secondly, attributes such as confidence, courage, and fearlessness, those are things that are forged in the fire. You can't read about that. You can't put it on like a code or whatever. It's something that you had to walk through. You don't just walk up. You don't wake up like this. I want to know a little bit about, because out of all 3, I'm intrigued. But the last one, confidence, courage, and fearlessness.
Yeah. That was born out of me coming into Sherica. Wow, what do I want to start with that? That was born from being married and divorced in 18 months.
18 months.
18 months. And then I think 2 years later, I was engaged to someone else and he called it off. We went to church together. He dropped me off at home. He said, it's not you, it's me. I can't do this. And he walked out the door and I have not seen him since.
Okay. I got questions. But I'm going to let you continue.
Yeah. That same month, I believe, I lost she didn't pass away, but our friendship ended. One of my closest friends at the time, someone that I was there for her when she went through cancer treatment. And I even stepped in and helped her with her son because of radiation. She couldn't be near her son at the time. So I was told it was not being a good friend. Everything that I held dear to me, specifically relationships, was on the rocks. Being told my family relationship was even strained because I decided to not subscribe to the same doctrine I was brought up with. So that created a huge strain for me in relationship to my family. And so I had to make a conscious decision to move forward, a conscious decision to be courageous and step away from what I was taught, a conscious decision to move past the heartbreak and continue being who I was called to be, a conscious decision to not let fear hold me back, but to move in spite of it. It was a conscious decision to move from Tennessee after college to Houston, Texas and I didn't know nobody. Just moved for a job and then having to do it again to move up here. So courage, confidence, and fearlessness is something that's developed.
Yeah.
It's something that you cry about at night, but you wake up in the morning and put your shoes on, your pants, and you keep on going. That's where it came from.
Wow. Now I'm feeling like I'm going to have to go get the book because it's like, no, for real, like out of all the things that popped up, that one was the one that was like, because I get it.
Yeah.
And I think it's a constant, it's not like once you're there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a constant decision because you're going to get fear here, you're going to get fear there, but the choice is to not let that fear paralyze you. I think courage in itself is saying, yeah, I'm afraid, but I'm going to keep pushing because I know this doesn't last forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't give themselves the grace to say, it's okay to be afraid.
Mm-hmm.
But just don't stay there.
Right. But you remember when I said earlier that I'm a teacher, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so one of my favorite things about this is helping people understand what fear is. Fear, by definition, is nothing but a distressing emotion about something bad that may or may not happen, real or imaginary. Think about that. It's an emotion about something that could be imaginary.
Yeah. Well, when you put it like that.
And that's how you become fearless. Because you realize it's nothing but an emotion. It's not tangible. Mm-hmm. You can't touch it. You can't put your paint. You can't even see it half the time.
Because it ain't even came yet. It's not a reality.
It ain't real.
Wow.
It ain't real. So once you understand that fear is not real, it is an emotion and you feel it, but you don't have to feed it. And so you recognize it for what it is, then use the information that you have in front of you, the information that you see in front of you, the information of your success receipts, your information about your God receipts, okay? How God has been there for you, the information that you're receiving in this moment. When you take that information and honor what you feel, then you're able to continue moving because now you're moving in wisdom.
Come on now. This is the second time today. I'm going to say pass the offering plate. Doggone it.
But that's what it's about. And that's what I love to do. I love to give people the information to help them understand what it means to be confident, fearless, and courageous.
Yes. I hope y'all really get this for real. So I want you to, first of all, before I ask, are there any new projects that are coming down the pipeline? I feel like I have to ask that because we didn't even get to half the questions.
I know.
But it's okay. Maybe you come back for a round two.
Maybe we will. Yes.
But is there something that first of all, this t-shirt, I know y'all on the radio can't see it, but y'all on YouTube get bold,
brilliant, and unstoppable.
First of all, it's fly.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome. I'm not gonna lie to nobody. I don't do that. But I love the fact that it carries a positive message, marriage, what I talking about, and maybe you can get married. Sorry, and it's your brand, and it
Yeah.
looks. I
Yeah,
don't
go
care.
ahead.
It's Rona. I ain't gonna do it.
You didn't touch my hair, so.
Yeah. It is soft.
Yes.
Like it looks really comfortable.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I like the t-shirt. She said they haven't been released yet, so hopefully sometime in the near
Yeah.
future we will have access to these. But what else you got coming down the pipeline?
So one of the things I'm working on right now, and again, this is the first time talking about this in public, is a program that I have that I call the Audacity to Be Greater.
Audacity.
The audacity, y'all.
To be great.
To be greater. Because we are great in and of itself, right? We've accomplished things, we've gotten this far in life, and we're good. But do you have the audacity to be greater? And if you have the audacity, I'm gonna take you there.
Yes. So wait, when is this program? Are you done working on it, or is it still in the works?
I am done working on it, but I'm not going to release it until May.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait until the audacity of her to make us wait on the audacity to be greater, but it's coming in May.
It is coming in May.
Okay, awesome. Well, y'all stay tuned. Speaking of stay tuned, so remember how earlier I was like, oh, it's the year long, or not month long year anniversary celebration. I see that you have some goodies. Which one of these goodies do you want to give away to the listeners?
I want to give this away. This is my baby. This is a labor of love. This was harder to put together than write any books I've ever written.
And she wrote a whole bunch of books, y'all.
What this is called Feminine Success Mastery Journal and Weekly Planner. So let me show you this. When I wrote this, it has tabs in it. So this is my manifesto I told you I wrote while I was sitting on the bed in the hotel.
All right. Oh.
I am a bold, brilliant, and unstoppable woman. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Because God's power is always flowing to me, through me, and all around me. I walk boldly and confidently into every door, every room, and every situation. I have unprecedented favor everywhere I go and with every person that I meet. When challenges arise, I never cower in fear or uncertainty. Instead, I dig deep within to access the wisdom and power of the Holy Spirit who dwells in me.
Wait. I'm going to cut you off. I don't want you to give it all to them.
All right.
If y'all wants to see it, y'all got to stay tuned and listen to what I'm about to
So that's just the introduction.
That was just the intro, y'all.
Then we have our values section where we talk about identifying your top 5 values. And we do that because how can you plan the rest of your life if you don't know your values?
You got to know your values.
Then we talk about the vision work. Write the vision, make it plain. And then, what does that say?
Success receipts.
So you have a place to keep track of your success receipts. And then
lessons learned.
And always remember. This is where I keep track of the miracles that I've received. Answered prayers. Because we are so quick to forget.
I got a whole box designated to mine. Yes, ma'am.
And then you take all that information, your vision, your success receipts and everything, and you plan. You do your weekly planning. Because this is how you eliminate stress. When you keep in mind what your values are, you keep in mind what you're capable of, you keep in mind what God is capable of, you're able to move through life a whole lot easier, creating that life of ease.
Oh, man.
So that's what this is about.
And this is her baby. It's her labor of love. Yes. I don't even think it's out yet.
It is not out yet.
It's a We Are Not So Different exclusive. Hey, it's a premiere. But one lucky listener is going to get a chance to win her labor of love.
Yes.
The FSM Feminine Success Mastery Planner.
All in color, y'all.
And it's chocked full of goodness.
Yes.
So,
yes.
One person, I'm going to say, choose a number. I'll let you decide.
24.
24. So the 24th person to go to my website, which is www.wearenotsodifferent.com. I want you to go to my website, go under the Contact Us section, and I want you to say the phrase that pays, which is, I got questions, I need answers. Yes. The 24th person is going to win this Feminine Success Mastery Journal Planner, and it's full of just goodness and readiness to get you out there and be inspired. And wait, be bold, brilliant,
And
and
unstoppable.
unstoppable. So once again, www.wearenotsodifferent.com. Go on to the contact us section and write, I got questions. I need answers. The 24th person is going to win, and I'm going to announce it on Facebook and social media later today. Before we go, because we got to wrap this up, I know it went really quickly.
Yeah.
I want you to give people, where can they find you? This is your time to shamelessly plug yourself. Do it, girl. Do it.
Yes. I'd love for you guys to follow me on Instagram at Sherica Matthews, or go to my website, shericamatthews.com.
Easy.
That's really it. I love dropping nuggets there, get you a little glimpse into my life, the things that I do to keep myself encouraged and keep myself moving forward. And then that's where I announce a lot of my upcoming products and services. So you want to definitely follow me on Instagram. Facebook, the same thing, or just go to my website on the email list.
Because I'm gonna need to find out when that sweatshirt drops. I'm gonna need one in my life.
Yeah. I got a t-shirt too, girl. It's fly. It is fly.
I can't wait.
I got the silhouette of a woman that says bold, brilliant, unstoppable. And she's like, what?
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
This has really been great. I've learned a lot
this
about you,
so
a lot about
awesome.
like I said, we didn't get through half the questions, so it might have to be a part 2. We're gonna keep y'all in the
I would
loop.
love to come back for part 2. And you guys let us know if you want me back for part 2 or not.
Yeah, sit in the comments. Yeah. Y'all know what to do.
Yeah.
So until next time, we're gonna say peace, love, and stay safe out there. Yeah, hair grease. Love y'all.
Bye.
All right, YouTube. We're gonna wrap this up now. Thank you so much for being live with me today. Love y'all.
Bye.
When I was talking